fashion, the way I understand. Let me just give you an idea randomly. So let's say, how would it be if you find a shoe that can function as both as a sneakers, can be an official shoe at the same time, and also be a knockabout at the same time. So that means 3 things in one product. Now that will eliminate, the stress of people having to purchase many shoes all in one, and have one product that can cater across all their different needs. Shoe for school, shoe for work, shoe for knockabout. That is a solution. So many people have come up with that. Some people have come up with a bag in fashion, a bag that can be a jacket, at the same time can be a whole, bag. Okay, what we call a duffel bag. Now, these are ideas, cutting edge ideas people are beginning to come up with, because they've identified how many shoes are you going to, I'm sure they must have had a particular, target audience that they're trying to appease or they're trying to speak to with that particular idea. Now, imagine the next thing you start doing is you start asking the questions. Okay, how is this a problem? Is this an actual problem to be solved? And who are the people that have this problem? All right, where can I find them? Okay, this is ideation going on. You're beginning to try to distill that big idea into little things that you can put into everyday process to give birth to a solution. It's like going to grind something. There is a process to start the thing, put the cassava into the grinding machine, and the result will come out. It's rinse and repeat. That's what business is. Okay, so usually I do advise people to use what I call either the lean canvas model to identify this, or an ideation canvas, what I call an MVP ideation canvas. And these are places where you do ask certain kinds of questions. Don't worry, I will send this after the session and they will share it probably to yourselves. Okay, you ask questions like what problem am I trying to solve? Why are you building this product? What problem are you trying to solve? And then you go into the next phase of hypothesis. What do you believe to be true right now? What is obtainable in this industry with these people who are having this problem at the moment? And when you ask that question, you jot it down. And then you ask yourself the next question. What do you need to do to validate your solution to these people? Do I need to build an app? Do I need to do a survey? Do I need to come up with statistics? You're asking yourself the right questions, because you need to understand what business you're trying to actually start. Some of them sound very beautiful, piercing tech. I like the sounds of it, but you need to be able to distill your idea into understandable, that you can be able to communicate it as well to a baby, and the baby will understand it without having to look for for it to be explained. You ask yourself, who are the customers who will benefit from this product? Who am I going to test this product with? Okay, and you ask yourself, what do you expect to discover from your test? These are different things. These are different questions you begin to ask using the MVP ideation canvas to be able to distill your idea. So like I said, ideation allows you to ask the right questions, innovate with a strong focus on your users. Very important, because every business is built for the end users, not for yourself. That's why I don't believe that you should build a solution out of the thought of your head. You come up with a solution, and you need to interact. You need to interact with the people who you think that this solution is meant for them. Okay, all right. And you ask the right questions, and then it will allow you to step beyond the obvious. Okay, you've mentioned sustainable fashion. That's the obvious. Okay, but when you begin to spend time thinking about the solution, you start to go in deeper to see aspects of this business that you wouldn't have possibly, would have thought about. Okay, and also increase your innovation potential for your solution that you're bringing to the table. And thirdly, if you have a team that you're already working with, ideation usually would help you to bring together different perspectives and the strengths of your team members together to build something amazing. Okay, so it allows you not to just leverage on your own strength alone, It allows you to leverage on the strengths of the team members, because you are not an island, all right? Nobody is an island. The reason why God has placed us into this place, excuse my religion, all right? The reason why we are here is that we're designed to be interdependent, okay? Nobody is an island on its own. We're designed to be interdependent of each other. So where your strength is not allowing you to go further, another person's strength can allow you. So ideation can allow you uncover unexpected areas of innovation, create volume and variety in your innovation options, get obvious solutions out of your heads, and drive your team members, drive beyond them. Okay, so it's very important that you understand that these are very valuable times in your business. And like I also said, it's not a one stage thing. It's something that you would need to do at every stage of your business, at every aspect of your business. Okay. All right, just bear with me 1 second. Just bear with me there. Sorry, just bear with me. I'm just trying to get something done quickly. All right. Sorry, I just needed to get that done. Okay, and like I said, you ideate in order to transition from identifying just problems to creating solutions that users are going to use. Okay, like I said, every business is built around the users. That's why I always say interact with the people who have that problem. Even Almighty Google, which I always say, Almighty Google has made this mistake at some point in their growth. Everybody has experienced this. They've come up with, sometime I always try to share this, come up with a product called Google Glasses sometime in 2013. And when did they come up with this idea? Sounds so beautiful. You don't have to use your phones. You just need to, everything happens on your Google Glasses. You can be able to read your mail, read everything, take calls and everything. And as beautiful as that idea sounds, I'm sure a lot of people were going to buy into it. Unfortunately, all right, at first it's people quite embraced it, but along the line you realize that people started, having issues with things like privacy. You find out that people who have these glasses go into places and take, unapproved, pictures or videos of people in private places. So privacy became a problem. People go into cinemas and dub the movie and recreate it. So many things started popping up. And Google had to recall this product for this particular thing. What Google did was, when they recalled this product sometime in 2014, they had to try to ideate again. They had to go over the idea, identify, okay, which people actually have this problem that I'm trying to solve. And when they did discover that, they relaunched the business again, the product again, sometime in 2015, but now to a targeted audience, not just to everybody out there. You see why it's quite important to know that every business exists. You can't solve the problem of the world. Your solution is for a particular set of people. You need to find out who those people are, interact with them, engage with them, and find out what, beyond the surface level, what is it exactly that is the main cry of their business. So that's the point where you begin to understand, is my solution that I'm coming up with, is it a painkiller or is it a vitamin C? A painkiller everybody cannot do without. You see, vitamin C, we can do without. I can tell you for a fact, when you're sick, you're going to take medication. If you're having headache, you're going to take painkillers. Okay, but you don't just randomly stay and you're having headache, you take vitamin C. Rarely do you see people do that. But that's why I say your business, your solution has to be a painkiller to people. So the only way you discover that, I was saying something about trying to, set up something for, people that I work, people I've been interacting with in terms of debts. And then I started thinking about it. I think before I'm even going to launch anything at all, I'm going to go on the streets. I'm going to go on the streets. I'm going to be able to interact with people, engage with them, ask them questions. I'm going to do surveys online, definitely. I will do online surveys, set up surveys, send links to people, and tell them, please, can you help me just answer these questions to the people I believe are my target audience? And then I'm going to enter the streets. I'm going to ask people real life questions on the street with my phone. The same questions I'm going to ask them, because it's only in engaging them that you will think that the idea you're coming up with will be the best of it all until we engage the people. And in a space of maybe speaking with about 50 to 100 people, I can assure you, you will begin to see a pattern. You will begin to see a pattern in the process. You will begin to see a pattern as to how people are going about solving their issues at the moment. You will begin to see that. Okay? So when you do that, it gives you the opportunity to create solutions that are more suitable for the target audience that you're trying to do. Ideation is your chance to combine the understanding that you currently have about the problem space and the people you're designing it for with your imagination to be able to generate a solution concept. Okay? I'm just going around the same things because I need to stress the importance of this. Okay? And particularly, early in the design, like I see on my screen, early in the design of any product, ideation is about pushing for the widest possible range of ideas, which you can select, not simply finding the single or best solution. Okay, as advised by the school, that started teaching about design thinking as a process guide. Okay, so it's not just about, this is the solution I have. You need to interact with the people and bridge that gap between the idea that you have, the problem that you've created, and understanding the actual problem that people are having, and finally marrying those two outcomes together to create a wholesome product that is marketable for yourself. All right. Okay, and somebody will ask, I've already mentioned ideation canvas. I can tell you for a fact some of these things are readily available to you online. All right, if you just type in maybe ideation canvas or lean canvas model, they will always tell you, you will see all of those things online. And that's how I started. Some of these things, you do a lot of research. Somebody will say, it's not just business you want to start. You do a lot of research. You allow yourself that process to do that research, because those research that you do are very important. To gone are the days anybody can just have an idea. I have this idea, I want to get into it. No, you're going to waste money. You don't have that money. A big brand like MTN can do that. They have the money. They've raised money. They have money dedicated to what we call research and development, R&D. You don't have it. So you have to take your time, validate your idea. We did similar mistake. We came up with an idea during post-COVID. That's our Q project technology. We came up with an idea that we were going to, introduce contactless payments. Beautiful idea, I can tell you for a fact. Sounds good on paper, sounds good if I tell you that idea. But you see, when I got into the market, I had the opportunity to take that product first into the market. We were working with, in Lagos then, we were working with, we were doing a niche testing, okay? And the market that we are using is that Ikota market that is just beside VGC. That market, that's exactly where I don't know if anybody knows the Ikota market. Is not Aja, Ikota. It's just right beside VGC. I hope I'm saying it right, okay? If you just go there, I'm just using it as an example. It's like a concentrated, where I can find a concentrated amount of business owners who were my target audience. business owners. I wanted them to test the idea, onboard them on the app, and business will start moving smoothly. Unfortunately, it didn't go as planned. We had the idea, and by the time I got into testing, I was already talking to them. From the feedbacks I was getting from that, I started realizing, okay, this will not work this way, because see, all of them were giving me the same responses. This is not going to work this way, until we gathered all. It was also a learning process. We gathered all of that information, came back to the office, had to speak with my partner, my business partner. We went over it. We started brainstorming. What do we think? And which led us to the pivoting of that idea into something that was going to be much, much more sustainable for business owners and was going to help them better. Okay, so it's always necessary, because otherwise you will take a product into a market that is not marketable, that is not meant for anybody, that is not meant to bring anything. No matter how beautiful you think your idea is, testing, ideating, going to interact with the people, very important. And somebody will ask, what are some of the ideation techniques? Out of all of them that have been listed here, brainstorming, brain dump, these different ways your mind could work. Excuse me, sometimes I could use mind mapping. Mind mapping, you just beginning to write once you think about the business or the idea that you're trying to have, you just keep writing what are all the ideas or anything that comes into your head when you think about that solution. You just keep dumping it. So it can even be that's brain dump. Mind mapping, you just find a way to, you dumping it, and then you're seeing the connection from this to this, from that to this. Okay, and you're able to mind map everything going through your mind. Okay, so, but most of all, what I usually do recommend is brainstorming. Okay, doing a brainstorm, it usually helps you to be able to synergize a group. I'm also thinking about it in terms of a group. Otherwise, by yourself as well, is still beneficial. You can, if you're just a single sole proprietor, you can think about the business. You can brainstorm. You can, talk to somebody you respect, a senior colleague in business. I do that a lot. I have an idea. I pass it by, all right? I pass it by through some people I consider a sounding board for myself. And by the time I pass it through them, they can give me their honest feedback. And I will go back to, they won't advise me on, the idea. Basically, they can advise me on how to develop the idea. Then I will have to go back and do my work and then come back to them. Okay, so brainstorming, you can even tell somebody, I want to pick your brain, especially if the person has a familiarity around the industry that you're trying to work in. You can tell them, please, can I have some session with you to brainstorm together with you? It allows you to leverage, see things from different aspects that you would never have thought about it by yourself. It allows you to leverage the synergy of a group to reach new ideas by building on top others' ideas. Okay, ideas are blended to create a good idea. And so that's why you see some people will say 1 + 1 is 3, or thoughts like that, just because it will help you do better when you are trying to sort of brainstorm. Okay, and I think I've spent so much time talking about ideation, and I also want to let you know that it's not something that you're going to be doing only at the beginning, at this phase of your business. It's something that you will need to continuously do. It is a continuous process throughout the life cycle of your business, because now it might be to get the right idea and put the right idea out there. Tomorrow it could be, okay, we're getting one customer acquisition is working, 1, 2, 3. Okay, but what is the next thing to happen? What is the next thing to happen? Okay, how do we increase from 2, 3 customers every day to 5, 10 customers every day? You start thinking again. Ideation starts to, should I change the way we do our business? Do you think it's time for us to get a website? Or do I need to go and talk to people? Do I need to do this? You are constantly ideating. Okay, I'm just going to take a brief pause here. Are we all on the same page at this moment? Are we all on the same page at this moment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I'm happy to hear that. And if you have any questions,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you very much. If you have any questions, just keep writing it down now, and then we will take it up in a short while. Okay. And when ideation is done, okay, after you've been able to distill your ideas, you've been able to have an understanding of who has the problem and whose problem are you trying to solve, and what are the business elements that I could bring in, what are the human elements that can affect my business. These are questions you're going to be asking yourself. All right, business elements. What are the market elements, the supply, the channels, okay, the touch points, the pricing, the value proposition. Okay. Okay. So all of these, all of these are part of the things that you do just need to get sorted for yourself, pending, when you are able to, you know, get these answers and be able to move on. What are the human elements involved? What customer experience, all right, do you intend to deliver? These are questions you're going to have to ask yourself. Starting a business is beautiful when you see, you hear the likes of big tech companies doing well. It sounds quite amazing, but there is a process to that. There are steps they did take to get to that point. Until you do get to that point, you should be able to constantly work, even as they are. Money Point started. Money Point started basically where we started in our business. Money Point started also with building apps for companies. Funny enough, I did. Now I've evolved. Our company evolved from what I was telling you about contactless payments to where we're building solutions for companies. But Money Point was building solutions for banks, financial institutions, and realized that these solutions that they're not sure that the banks are implementing it the way they're supposed to implement it. And that was how the founder of MoneyPoint started and said, you know what, I think we do need to ask these people. It's not just about these bankers coming to tell us, oh, build this for us, build this for us. I think we do need to ask people at this juncture, what should be the best thing to do for them? Okay. And what happened is, I read their story, how they started. They went to, was it a jam market? They went and had a one-on-one interaction with these market sellers, asked them around about their existing POS solution that they had, and then asked them, what do you think will make better if you had it in your POS? They had that interaction with them and took all the answers that they got and went and built their own POS solution. And guess what? They did not just only, first of all, create a brand awareness by asking those people that questions, because those people are already built affinity with those Money Points people. Because obviously, if somebody has come to me as a market seller and asked me what are the problems I'm facing with and what do you think will be better? Okay, we're trying to build something, and if we build it, would you like to test it? Next time you're coming, you've already broken the ground. You're not going to have to start all over again to sell me a market or sell me a product that you feel I might want. No, they've already breached that gap. They've already had the opportunity to interact with these people. And that's why they always tell you, don't try to launch. And that's why every company, most tech companies now are trying to have what we call community of testers. These are the first set of people that are going to test their product. Most likely these testers are people they must have engaged with a survey around the product that they're trying to build, and are going to make them the first testers before they eventually launch the products to the market. So they're like an MVP. And that's what MoneyPoint did. By the time they had that conversation, they were able to go back and give the same product to them and say, try it. And apparently it solved majority of the problems that they were having. Instant money settlement. Most people have where the T+1 settlement, when you do all those POS transactions with your business, you receive it the next day. And they were able to solve some of those problems for a lot of people. Okay. And when they were able to solve that problem, that's how business started. From that small market, got feedbacks, reiterated on their products. That's where even in software, building, they always say, oh, next version. They're always creating a higher version. Oh, version 4 point this, version 5 point this. And they will tell you what are the things, debugging and all of that. They're constantly getting better in the solution that from POS, they have evolved now to becoming a bank. And that's constantly innovating on the process, constantly innovating on the solution. They realize, okay, we want to be able to serve a large amount of people. We're not going to be able to do that just having an app. To build that level of trust for people to recognize us as this, I think it will be time for us to have a physical location for people to now physically come into and trust us as a bank. We'll build such brand equity, we'll build this for them and be able to get them to sell more financial products to you, and also drive financial inclusion. You see how ideation is constantly coming into the process, okay? Somebody says, what if you have a strange idea that has never existed, and when undergoing the survey, people never understand you? What are the steps to take? So that is what I'm saying, Emmanuel. You can't be having an idea outside of people who, like, you can't be having an idea outside of a problem that you have discovered for a particular set of people. Do you understand what I mean? There has to be people who have the problem that you are trying to solve. There has to be that people who have that problem. You have to identify a market, already existing market. You need to start from somewhere. If you ask questions, because nobody's going to buy a product they don't need. Do you get what I mean? You can have a beautiful idea. People are not going to buy a product if it's not a problem to them. You must find out which people have this problem that you have had a strange idea around. Ask them, interact with them. I can assure you, you will do your business better if you do that due diligence. I have tried to start what we call delivery business sometime in Owerri. And one of the things I also discovered before starting that eventually was that what I wanted to start, as beautiful as it sounds, it was going to work every other place. Well, everywhere is not Lagos. I have to recognize the limitations and the possibilities of where I am at the moment, which was Owerri. It's not going to function like Lagos. It's not going to function like this, but it's going to function like this. I was able to interact with people that I was going to provide that solutions to, business owners, and ask them, what do you think? Even users that are going to also use it, what do you think? And everybody gave their feedback, and you always see a trend. You will always see a trend of what they do need. And your best bet, I can assure you, Emmanuel, will be to follow that trend. Okay? All right. So what we will do moving forward was, even while I came to Lagos, I launched that business. At some point, I realized that, oh no, this business is not going to work this way. This delivery business, Lagos is not a city like Owerri. Lagos is a whole state. So if I'm going to have two bikes running around, I realized I was spending much more money on fueling than even though customer acquisition was growing every day. But I realized that I was spending more money on operations, costs on operations. With the model of the business I was running at the time, I was going to spend more money on operations, overhead costs, than I'm going to see any sort of profit in this business. And I'll end up exhausting all of my all of my money I have to do that business, and then I would not have any profit at all. And I sat back with my partner, and then I asked certain questions. I can assure you, came up with an idea to do what we call then the Uber of delivery. That time, what you have today as Go-Kada, all of them were not working. All you had at the time was Uber. Uber was just it. Okay, Uber, normal way people. So I said, how about, why would I spend money on overhead costs? Number one, is going to limit my ability as a startup, as a small business owner. I don't have all the funds. And by the time I get an investor to invest that amount of money to do what I need to do, to buy so much, how many bikes can the investor money buy? And also the overhead cost of owning all those bikes. You see, these are the things that you have to start thinking about. The business elements and the human elements, okay, when you're doing your ideation. So I thought about how this was going to interplay on the long run. I would end up exhausting that money from investor, and I would just only be able to build something that would not be producing any sort of profit. And for me to now expand more, I would need to get more money from investors. And with each money coming in, your share percentage, your share capital is reducing at every point in time. So by the time you are able to even extend to other states, You would be probably, your share percentage would just be so low because you brought in so many people that what an ideation could have removed at that point. From, so I had that time, I thought about it. I said, okay, how about I do what Uber is doing? Rather than trying to own 101,000 bikes, when I don't want to be, I don't want to spend money on the business trying to maintain. You know what machine is? You have to fix it. You have to buy fuel. You have even the riders as well. Obviously, I mean, the situation of corruption in Nigeria also is a human effect that you should have to factor in. I thought about that. I was literally spending every day. So I know my rider was playing a smart one on me. I also came up with ideas to overcome that because that's what you do as a business owner. Okay. But eventually I realized that no, this is not going to work this way. How about there are bikes in the whole of Lagos? Literally, if they have been banned from the express, they have not been banned from the streets. How about for each of the streets, I go and sign up every bike man and tell them I want to give you opportunity to make extra money other than from just getting people to ride on your bikes. Okay, how was that going to work? I signed them up, create an app, the same way. And you know what my problem was? The problem I realized with the two bikes I had at the time doing deliveries was I was having customers will call you today, now, and say, and they are, let's say I live on the island and maybe the bike is on the island, and the customer will call you and say, oh, I want this delivery done before 5 o'clock. I want this delivery, and you'll be driving from Awoyaya. Imagine if your bike rider is in Awoyaya. I'm using Lagos because that's where I live. You know, well, rider is in a way, you're driving all the way to Ikeja. First of all, the fuel consumption is crazy. You drive all the way to Ikeja to pick up one item, and maybe the delivery is somewhere in Apapa. That's crazy. Do you understand? This business is not going to work. As so you see why people have, oh, I have an idea, oh, I want to do delivery business. I'm going to rush into it. It makes sense. It's not as it seems. You have to do your due diligence. Okay, so it was in doing that that I realized that this is not going to work. I know that I'm not able to satisfy people as much as I'm getting customers. I'm not able to satisfy their need, which what I have discovered is that everybody wants their delivery to be done immediately. Nobody wants to wait 5 hours for their delivery to be done. Imagine if it's food, nobody's going to wait that long. And I also realized that for me to have that, cutting edge stance in this industry, I think I need to do something. This is where I started thinking, what do I do? What do I do? I came up with that idea, pivoting my business from just owning two bikes to signing up bikers around and, build an app, sign them up, take my time. So me, I'm a street person. I enter the streets and I go into the market, interact with the rider, sign you up on the app, show you how, make it very easy that even an uneducated person can get it. We have to, people have, what's the other app? It's not Money Point. I'm trying to, OPay. Everybody uses OPay. You don't have to go to school to know how to use OPay. Everybody has a bank. That's how simple it has to be. Okay, so by the time that will be done, what happens is that everybody within any street, anywhere you are, as long as there are bikes on that street, you can be able to book for a delivery and get a rider instantly because the rider would be sometime in your street and your delivery will be able to be done faster. So I would be able to serve more than 100 people at a time rather than serving one person at a time. Did you see how you will go from just increasing your business potential, your solution potential by just ideating? I think I have shared so much idea around this ideation, so much understanding to gain around this ideation. Okay, if you do have any questions, just pen it down. I will pick it up as I go, and let me know if this is making sense for yourself, if it's something that is beneficial to you and at the stage at the business where you are at the moment. You can drop on the comment section. Let me just know that it's making sense to yourself. Okay, because someone says that massive. Do I look like a gungu? Yes, that's massive. Thank you, John Paul. And moving forward there, yes, thank you. I'm getting the feedbacks. All right. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is pitching your idea. Pitching your idea is one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to have done your due diligence, your ideation process. You've come up with a product. Now you want to face an investor or you want to engage your prospective partners. You want to engage the people that you want to, obviously the reason why you're here is because the generous work of Ugwumba challenge. And when you're trying to pitch your business, the first thing I would advise in trying to pitch your business is just a process of trying to sell your solution. You have built it. So somebody will always say elevator pitch. If you've been around business so long, they will always say something like elevator pitch. And then they will tell you, okay, first of all, when you do have an idea, and let's say you imagine yourself, you walk into an elevator, you just press the elevator button and you get into the elevator. And imagine just before the elevator closes, it's Dangote, or it's, let's say, Adeleke or Tony Elumelu walking into the elevator with you. Do you have what you can pitch to them between the time where they press the floor? Let's say you're on the ground floor and they're going to the third floor. Do you have what it takes to pitch and convince that person within the time they enter there to get in before they reach their final floor, to be engaging so much for them to be able to listen to you and ask you to come back and pitch this to them? That's what they call an elevator pitch. It's one thing to have an idea. Communicating your idea is a whole different level. You should be able to communicate your ideas to the different stakeholders in the business. Stakeholders, obviously, both the users, the end users, you should be able to communicate very well to them. You should also be able to communicate to the investors. If you do have investors or you're applying for a grant, you should be able to communicate succinctly and clear to them that in one snooze of a time, they get what you're trying to, get out there and be able to, invest in your business. Back to the elevator pitch. Most times what people do as a mistake when they find themselves and say, okay, I'm trying to come up with an elevator pitch, is to tell themselves or feel like that what they're going to say, they want to spend the time between ground floor to third floor to convince Tony Elumelu to invest in the idea. Not necessarily. What your goal is, I will take this from different aspects. What your goal is at that point is to grab him, catch his attention. That's the first thing. And even in communicating your ideas, whether on social media, this works even in marketing, everything. The first thing you do, because on social media, there's so many contents. Why would people leave this other one and listen to your own, especially when you're not known? Attention grabbing is the technique. The first thing you want to do is to put out something there, whether in your whatever designs that you've put out there, should be able to attract attention first. There's so much noise in the world, it should be able to attract attention. If you're trying to send an email to potential partners to partner with you, your subject line should be able to, once it lands on my phone, when that first notification of an email entering my phone, the first line of that subject should be able to attention grab me to want to open my email. Do you know how many emails I receive every day? I try to delete my emails because now my Google has reached, I've reached my maximum capacity with my Google. So I delete mails every day, literally. At the end of each day, I empty all my mails. So you see, and I have up to 3 mails now, or 4 even. So I'm having to empty this every day. And if everything that does not concern me, I do remove. So you see, the first line, everything, I did this even in marketing, it shows up. Communicating of your idea is very important. The first line should be able to attract attention, should be able to evoke a thought, should be able to make the person pause and look at you again. That should always be your first goal. You can never convince somebody in one sitting or in between ground floor and third floor or 10th floor about a whole business idea you spent maybe some people spend years, months thinking about an idea. You can't be able to communicate all of it at once. But the first thing you say, the most and first important thing you say should be able to attract attention. Example. So one time when we were starting to, build that solution, venturing into building solutions for businesses and trying to get people on board. This was still when we were doing the contactless solution. So what I did, I'm the executive. I'm the one that executes ideas. I'm the one that goes into the market. I'm the one that tries to get it going. Let's get it going. Not just have an idea. I really don't. I'm not someone that really is hyped so much about ideas, because I can tell you in a day I can have 1,001 ideas. Anybody can have an idea. It is the implementation of an idea that is where I respect people. When you are able to implement, follow through an idea, implementing, that is where the work is. And that's why I respect people. Okay. So, you see, I start making calls. Obviously, I start from the known. What are the known? Send emails, go online, try to look for companies that are most likely partner with to increase my growth potential. I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to have to do that. And obviously, cold calling, let me use that as an example. Nobody wants you to randomly, if I randomly get a phone call from anybody and says, oh, I'm trying to do this, obviously, I'm going to tell you I'm busy right now, because first of all, I don't know you. You're cold calling me. There's a lot of resistance in cold calling. Okay. But sometimes, all right, they will tell you 1 out of every is usually a ratio of 1 to 10. 1 out of 10 people you call might listen to you. I mean, imagine that means if you want to get 5 people, you have to talk to 50 people to get 5 people. That's business mathematics. You have to just know. Okay. And it helps you manage your expectations when you're starting your business. So I started calling people. I started listing all the possible partners that we could have. I think I did one particular filling station at that time. And yeah, I would use that business, and I would use also the delivery business, because I'm sure you would want to know how that eventually went. Okay. So I started reaching out to all these people. And then I picked what I wrote. I had to craft my line. I'm not just, I like to be clinical about things. I had to craft my scripts. Once I pick up the phone, everything I'm going to say to you should be words that should evoke emotions. It make you want to listen to me, make you want to tell me, you know what, let's book a meeting, let's see. That's all I want to achieve at that point. I'm not trying to tell you the whole, what we do wrong is where we're trying to tell them over the phone, cold calling, you want to tell me everything. No, I'm not trying to tell you the idea. I'm just going to try to dump piece and pieces that is going to make you want, oh, nice. You know what? Send this thing over to me. Let me look at it again. Or, you know what? I can't talk right now, but let's book a meeting for a so time so we can speak. And it happened that I wrote that script, and then by the time I did that call, the first company I did call, after the first one did not go through, I called the second one. And then I'm trying to remember that filling station. Trust me, I'm not in Nigeria at the moment, so I can't really remember quite a lot of things. But I will remember if it's in my head. It just comes and goes. So I picked up, I called the company, and then I said, and what I did is, for every people I'm trying to talk to, I try to read about them, understand what their business looks like at the moment, and see how my solution in partnering with them will help them get closer to their business objective. And that's how I will communicate my product or my solution to them. Do you see that? So I always adapt my solution to the people I'm trying to communicate with, the language that they're speaking. Obviously, this filling station, they're trying to see how they can reduce the theft from their pump controllers. They're trying to reduce theft from, people who are managing, reducing cash handling by these people, reducing every, so they can also be able to see all the transaction at one place without having to go one after the other. Do you understand? These are things I had read. I looked around them. I said, okay. And then I checked. I followed whoever they looked for, who their marketing person is, search the person out on LinkedIn and see what if the person is active on LinkedIn, try to send a message. I crafted a whole pitch as a mail, and I sent to them. And if they're not responding, I get on the call. And then I told the person that, hi, my name is Lois Peters. I'm calling from Q Project Technologies. And I just like to let you know that I do have an idea that can help you, get more users for your product. I think that was something, I can't remember, this was like back in 2020. And it was quite a significant moment because I crafted a script and it worked. And it was quite an amazing moment, yeah. And when I did that, to my chagrin, to my surprise, the person said, oh, really? Okay. And by the time I finished everything I said, just 5 minutes, I said what I said. And then the person said, the funny thing is we're just having a meeting right now, thinking about how we can increase the users of our product. And your call just came at the right time. You know what? I do need somebody to be part of this conversation. Can you schedule a meeting for us to have a meeting so time the next day by this time? And send me an email. And I asked the person for their email. They provided, and it went from an instant cold call to a warm call. And then we kept. Michael, you're raising your hand. If you can just drop whatever you want to say in the comment section or in the message section, I will get hold of it quickly. Okay. All right. So moving forward from there, we had that, and then it started an ongoing partnership with us, with them. Okay. And even with let's go back to the delivery business. I have the idea, I came up with that idea, and then the next thing I did to myself, everybody, I talk about business, I talk money. Okay. I have opportunity then. I had one of my bosses at the time, and I had opportunities to treat people through him. And coincidentally, I met with the brother to the governor of Lagos State, as well as what's his name now? Sorry. I also met with Tiwa Savage's brother. I still have him on my contact till today. And then I messaged him, and then we had opportunity to go out. I joined my boss, someone I had been working for some time in Owerri. We met, we connected, and he introduced me to his network. And then I got talking with them, build that rapport with them. And then when they're talking to you, you have to present yourself as a smart person. I spoke to them. I said, I have this idea, but this is what I'm trying to do. The guy looked at me. I'm trying to create the Uber of delivery. It had not been heard at the time. He looked at me. He said, what do you mean? I said, I'm trying to make delivery solutions available, accessible to all, just the Uber way. It was quite an interesting one. Obviously, we were out for, social time. He did ask me to come back for a meeting the next day by social time to explain exactly what I mean, that he might just be interested. By the time I went back the next day, I explained my idea. This is what I'm trying to do. He looked at me and said, I'm going to help you do this, and I'm going to invest in your company, but I want 25% of your company. I'm going to not just help you both in the app development. I'm going to help you talk to the state government at the time. They will help you institutionalize your brand as the only brand to be used across all government parastatals in Lagos. He listed everything he was going to do. Obviously, I was new to a lot of things in business then. That wasn't my first time of pitching to investors, but at that time, it was too good to be true. I had to tell him I'll give him a response soon. I had to go back to my colleague, somebody I respected a lot, and said, this is what just transpired. The person wants 25% of my business. And the person advised, the person has to explain to you in monetary terms, what exactly are they bringing to the table before you give it. 25% is too much to give anybody at this beginning stage, especially when they're not bankrolling you to the tunes of $2 million US. It's too much. So I got that feedback, and then I gave them the feedback. Till today, I'm still close to that person. Eventually, that business did not pan out because I was in partnership with someone, and I was moving on with that idea. The person I'm in partnership with refused and said, she doesn't want to go that way. She wants her business to remain the way it was. And because of Yosoli, also, I was not really so much exposed at the time. I just loyalty. Okay, I'm loyal to somebody. I don't want to go against my partner, because those are things, especially if you're doing partnership in business. That's a whole conversation for another day. There has to be a cost on partnership, how to deal with partners moving forward. If you're going, it's very important. It can make or mar your business. I've had that experience twice. I can assure you. It's a story for another day. But whatever I said, the boy point of this whole conversation is that what you say at that first point should be a hook. Even when you're standing in the presence of investors to, pitch your business, the first thing that you say should be attention grabbing. It should grab the attention of the people that are listening to you, to say, what is she on about? What is this person on about? And it will grab their attention to listen to you. Now, with that introduction done, before you go into pitching your business, obviously you should have been able to create your pitch deck. Okay, a deck of let's say sometimes 10 to 15 pages of detailing different aspects of the story and the journey of your business. A pitch deck is very important. Somebody asked Okonex that said, what if I tell you that all your business needs for maximum sales is just one copy away from smart press portals? Fine, but nobody understands what is smart press portals. You have to fine tune it, make sense. Yeah, you can say that. You can say that. Don't worry, I'm coming to that. So most times when you're pitching to an audience physically, like to an audience of investors, I always try to use two techniques. One, storytelling. Two, questions. Okay, Jesus Christ, who is the greatest storyteller of all times, utilized that in communicating. Did you notice that all the while he was trying to teach while he was here, he did use storytelling a lot? You know why? People will never forget stories. People are never going to forget stories. I can assure you, if I ask you questions about what you learned, if I ask you a question around what you learned sometime maybe while you were in secondary school or primary school, what stood out for yourself? Sorry, Deborah, can you put yourself on mute, please? Okay. So if I ask you one of those questions, that which teacher do you remember the most, or what particular sentence from primary school do you remember? Sometimes you remember around, you know, things that you've been taught around, that maybe there were stories that were attached to it, or there was a particular teacher you will always remember because he's always funny, he's always trying to teach us something and he will make a joke out of it. You will always, it will be with you till the day you die. You see that thought?
The brush doesn't enter my eye.
Sorry, Deborah, can you put yourself on mute, please?
Carry the volume. Carry the light now.
If they reach where you go break, you can take my eyes. Oh, you want the thing.
All right, can somebody mute her,
Oh,
please?
it's not ready. I want to call them.
Mute. All right.
When it's very important, they no light without.
Okay, I'm just gonna move on, and I've already overshot my 1 hour, so I'm just gonna be 50 minutes max, 45 minutes max. I'm gonna get this done. Okay, just bear with me. So yes, and it's very, you will always remember that. You would never forget. So always try to do storytelling. But before I get into the technique of pitching, just quick one, I was saying that when you finish today, go through what we call lean canvas model. Most times, traditional businessmen will tell you to present a business plan. I don't believe any startup can do business plan. Not like you can't create a business plan, no. But you don't have the details, the data for you to put in a business plan. I feel like if you're going to be doing a business plan, you should already be 1 year into your business, then create a master business plan out from 1 year. Sorry, business plan from 1 year that you've been involved in that business with real-time data and projections, all right? But for starting as a startup, it is important that you check things like lean canvas model. I've typed it on the group, on the message. The first one I mentioned was MVP, what was it? MVP ideation canvas. Check these things out. There are tools that will sort of help you as you progress on your journey. All right. So to be able to create a pitch is like a reduced understanding of the journey of your business from end to end user. That is from the start, from the idea to the financial aspect of it and what you're trying to do. Usually we would try to teach people business model canvas, but I feel for a startup trying to start, the most important thing for you is a lean canvas model. Okay, a lean canvas model also helps you validate your ideas. It's also a part of ideation process. Okay, helps you validate your ideas, mitigate risks, and also build a successful product. Okay, it helps you answer specific questions around what is the problem. First of all, number one question it helps you understand is customer segments. What is your target customers and your users? Okay, who are your early adopters? Are there characteristics or create let's say, what do we call it now? an avatar of the customer that you're trying. Describe your customer, the people you're trying to address. Okay, you have a characteristics that are they low income earners? Are they? I have an idea. I told you I have ideas every time. I have an idea around investment. I'm going to launch, but not now. Everything takes, I take my time to do my due diligence, have my own personal experience before I start introducing people to it. That's my code in business. Okay, so you have to be able to do that, get your understand, am I targeting low income earners in this idea? How would I describe these people? Are they mid income earners? Do they earn monthly wages, or are they business owners? How much do they offer? These people should be able to spend this amount on investment or not. That to that point, you should be able to have that in your understanding of your customers. Secondly, obviously, the problem. List your customers' top 3 problems. What are the 3 problems these people are trying to solve? That's a lean canvas. I'm just trying to make it easy. All right. What is your unique value proposition? Okay. What is that thing that is compelling about you? Okay. That turns a visitor into an interested prospect. Why would they listen to you? What is the solution? Outline all the possible solutions for the problems that you've identified. What channels? How are you going to convey this solution to these customers who have this problem? What channels are you going to use? You list all. Are you going to be going through social media? Are you going to be going through emails? Are you going to be using all of them at once? Okay, you need to identify that. Are you going to be doing, what are your revenue streams? Okay, list all the ways you're going to make money. How are you going to make money from this business? Are you going to make money from, let me use investment business as an example. Are you going to be making money from people investing? Are you going to be making money from aggregates? There's so many, you need to ask yourself how exactly. Thank you, Okonesta. Eric Rice was one of the best people you want to watch or listen to about lean startup. It helps quite a lot. Okay, and you want to understand what is your cost structure. What are the things, understanding what are the places you're going to be spending money in to be able to, get that business, that product into the market, into the hands, that solution into the hands of your customer. All right. And finally, what are the key metrics you're going to be measuring? Because you have to measure. What you don't measure does not grow. People don't do what you expect, is what you inspect. I always say that. What you inspect is what grows. Anybody's job is nobody's job, but if you inspect something, it will be done. All right. So in your business, what are those key metrics that you are inspecting? What are those things that are in the key indications for you that shows you that your business is growing? If you are able to answer these things, number 1 to 8, it will help you to be able to have a rounded understanding of your solution, your business you're trying to start, and to be able to put that into a pitch deck. Okay, so let's say you have created all of this, you have understood those questions, you've been able to come up with that pitch deck. Okay, so the next question is, how do you then pitch this business to people? Okay, so like I said, storytelling. Somebody asked, do you always use is storytelling compulsory when doing video pitch, when a maximum length is given? I can assure you, storytelling will help you reduce everything you want to say. So I was part of the pitch storm. Let me see, pitch storm. I'm trying to remember the people that organized a pitch storm in Nigeria. Oh, let me see, quick one. Just bear with me 1 second. I'm trying to remember their name. I participated in the pitch storm, where I did represent my company. I did was that overall second in what we were doing at the time. Just bear with me. I'm just trying to see. Was that Q Projects Technology? I was literally trying to see, oh God, I can't find it. I always forget some of these things because there's so much a long time I did do them. But that was one of my I've had experiences in talking to investors at every point in time, but that was one of the best ones that gave me the edge that I needed and helped me understand quite a few things. I'm trying to remember. I'm sure you would know them in Nigeria. In Lagos, they always organize pitch storm events every year for where they get to do a boot camp, they train you, you go into a house. We were in a house, we were lodged in a place in an Airbnb for about 1 week. They took us through the whole process to get us ready to pitch because we were standing in Eco Hotel. Was it in Eco Hotel then? Yeah. It was like that. You had to come out and pitch your business and, people will listen to you and the rest. So one of the things that stood out, I spent time, at that point, you start even doubting what understanding of your business you do have. One of the things that helped me strongly was, sorry, Deborah, can you pause yourself? Can you mute yourself, please? Thank you. And was my ability to use storytelling to communicate. And I've told you why storytelling is important, because people will listen to you. So what I did, let's say app, I'm trying to build a solution around contactless payments. Yes, TechPoint Africa, thank you, Abula, you are correct. TechPoint Africa, they always organize pitch storm, all right? And I was part of their maiden one, which they organized. I was part of that one, and it was quite a very interesting moment, actually. So what happened was, I always use questions. We were advised to use questions, all right? Questions of example, let's say, okay, let me just use random ideas. Let me use the sustainable fashion idea from Messi earlier on that I was drifting off with. So let's say I'm doing a pitching and then I've been introduced, I get in there. The next thing after a moment of silence, I'm just gonna start with a question. Show of hands, if you've had to buy a work shoe, a school shoe, a knockabout shoe, a sports shoe, all at the same time, high-end ones, just because you did need to, do this at every aspect of your life. And that was the first question I started with around my solution. I always had, show of hands if you've ever been scammed if you've ever been scammed using a POS. Do you know what happened? People are doing, oh yeah, you have to use what people can relate with. Don't be sounding esoteric. Don't sound far removed from the people you're trying to communicate with. You should be able to use the normal, the easiest things that communicate your solution very fast and simple. You don't have to speak too much grammar. Don't. It's not a contest of how well you can speak English. No. So the first thing I asked, show of hands if you've ever because that's one of the solutions I was coming to the table with. So that's how well you need to know your idea, understand your business very well. So look at your business. What is it about my business that the people I've interacted with have given me as a problem, the top 3 problems they've been facing? That's what I'm going to start with. That's what I'm going to lead with. Okay? Show of hands if you've ever been scammed on social media. I mean, how many people have not been scammed on social media? Everybody's going to be, people are going to, me, guy, I had you've already invoked interest before to listen to yourself. You already have evoked an interest in people because you have attention grabbed them by asking that question. That's the first thing. All right. Sometimes you can start with a question. Sometimes you can decide not to start with a question. So you can start with a question and then you go into the solution. And said, I can imagine most of us have been scammed here and there on social media, just like the case of my very good friend, John. John is a typical, young star who is a medium income earner, and due to experience and being well-read, has realized can be able to shop online. I've started my story. It doesn't sound like I'm following a script or I'm following my pitch, but each of my story is going to be explaining each of the slide of my pitch deck. So I'm now telling you the problem I've identified with John, using John as my reference point. Do you get what I mean? So I'm using exactly. You can use names. Oh, okay, like John. I didn't even know there was a John here, John. So you can use even names people can resonate with. Don't be sounding abroad-ish. No, 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 no. Sound with names people, everyday name. Okay? So just this is the similar situation my friend John has found himself in. John, you have used that sentence to explain your problem page. So the problem that you have identified is that people who are like John, who are well-read, medium income earners, want to shop online, but have constantly been scammed. You see, in one sentence, I've been able to explain one slide with a story at the same time, with a question I started with. Okay? So this was the issue. Exactly, Okonesta, you can say, how many of you have, that's if you're speaking to business owners who are trying to, make money online, make sales online. So you can speak to them and you can ask that question. Show of hands if you've had a problem trying to make sales online as a small business owner. There are people who have that problem. It's okay. Then that's your idea to attract attention first, and then from there you go into the story and use a reference point. They would never forget John. You see, this story, you're not going to forget John today. As far as I'm concerned, as I finish this story, you're not going to forget John. You say, oh, this is the same issue John, my friend, had. John is not my friend. I don't even know John, but I'm just using John. Except John F. Young here, sorry. All right, this is the same issue my friend John had. John is a medium income earner, and having been well read, decides that it would be much more easier and much more productivity for his time to be able to order things online and have it delivered than rather going out to buy stuff. Bam, I've finished with slide 1. I move on to the next slide. Solution. John somehow interacts with our solution online through an ad that we did post online, and John gets in touch with ourselves to ask, how do I use this product? I'm telling a story using each slide rather than coming to investors and tell them every page, oh, the problem I've discovered is people are looking to shop online but are getting scammed. And then you move to the next page. You have to bring it to life. Let somebody realize that, oh, this is actually a real issue that you and I face on a daily basis, using the story to communicate that idea. So, and when John came in contact with you, John is someone who owns a business and believes that his business should be, beyond borders. But having to constantly do this is restricting his ability to get much more people involved in his business. Okay? And hence the solution we introduced John to, which was this. And you have introduced your solution. You have stated the problem with a story. You've stated the problem. You've stated the solution. And you're continuing. The next slide is the solution process. That is, how does John use your solution? And by the time you finish talking that, you then go, okay, I don't have a slide in front of me, so it's even making it difficult for me to flow through, but I'm just trying to randomly use through my head. So let's say I'm creating that, trying to stop scam, opportunity for John to be scammed online. So let's say I'm creating a solution around, what's this thing called now, where you can be able to, I can see a product online. I don't have to buy it. I can indicate my interest, tell the person I want to buy it, and then I will make a payment into an account, okay? And when I receive the items and I'm satisfied with it, I can say, oh, I'm satisfied with this on the app, escrow account. Ebula, you're really helping me on this training. You should join me now. So put that in an escrow account. And by the time I receive my product, and then I can say, oh, I'm happy with what I've received. And then immediately I say that on the app, the money is released immediately into the seller's account. Do you understand? So it solves John the problem of being scammed, making sure that he's not experiencing what I ordered versus what I got. Is making sure that everything works out well. And it's a It doesn't have to be a tech product, it's anything. I'm just using what I've been around with. You understand? I try to use the shoe, don't mind me. I ask that question, and then people will ask, okay, this is Adobe. Adobe is a hard worker who believes in waking up, with this traffic situation in Lagos. Adobe believes to wake up as early as 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock to be on her way to work. Now, having to go to work with these stilettos is not something that would help, make Adobe get to work on time. However, when Adobe realized through social media that there is a product that can allow her to be able to have a stiletto, a sandals, and also a sneakers all in one, Adobe took hold of this solution and tried to exploit it. So see how I'm trying to tell the story. Use a sentence to describe, use a storyline, a one-line sentence to describe each page. And if you can do that, you've introduced the problem, you've introduced the solution, you've introduced how Adobe got to know about the solution. You've described the type of people like Adobe. Already from the first question you already asked, a lot of people have identified that they are like Adobe who have the same issue. They want to get to work on time, but they can't be wearing koi shoe because they have to still look smart to be running to catch bus to enter to go to work. No. Or maybe when they're coming back for security purposes, they can't be wearing stilettos and be moving in the night. They can switch from their stilettos to a sandals that can help them still get home safely, get into, I'm extrapolating so many solutions out of that thing, that product, and seeing how it is useful to Adobe to use that product. Do you understand what I'm saying? So how Adobe is going to engage us is Adobe saw us online. From the advert we did post online. So you have communicated how they engage with your product. And all Adobe needs to do is just to make an order, be happy with the product that she saw, make a payment into an escrow account. And once she receives the solution or receives the product and she's happy with it, she just needs to say that she's happy with this and we get our own pay. Adobe is satisfied. Adobe doesn't get scammed. Adobe gets the product that she wanted and not what she received versus what she ordered, but she gets the actual solution that she orders. And she's happy on her way, going to work and coming back in a very seamless way. Well, you have communicated in a simple way without too many words. Your solution, your problem, the customer, and how they have come to get your product. And then the next thing is, so far, we have over 10,000 people like Adobe in Lagos. However, so far, we've been able to get about 100 people like Adobe to experience this product. So in that, you have already communicated with us your target audience, the size of your market. You've already told us the size of our market. And remember, while I'm talking, I'm telling you this story, I'm moving my slides from each slide to the other. So I'm on the slide now where I'm telling you, okay, this is the size of the market I'm trying to attack in this Lagos. So I've told you, so far in Lagos, you have over 1 million Adobe and 1 million people like Adobe who have the similar issues based on we've tried to interact with them. And so far, we've been able to get about 100 people like Adobe to explore this solution. And so far, most of them have come back with a positive response. And this is them. So you've stated to the people that you're pitching to, you have gotten 100 people to sign up to your product, and they have come back with a positive response. You have a proof that people are using your product. You have come, you're not just sitting there waiting for MVP. Everybody wants to wait for somebody to take them 0 to 100. Nobody's going to take it from 0 to 100. You have to go 50. Then somebody from their own experience can take you to the rest. But you have to go. MVP is a thing. It's part of the process. You can never get it right the first time. The most important thing about business is keep going, keep fine-tuning, keep iterating, keep doing the ideation process until it will never see everyday business is changing. People are even in phones, smartphones, they are going from what you thought they're going from. Before we used to have normal watches, now it's smart watches. Everybody's doing smart watches. So smart watches is going to something else. It used to be headphones, earpods. Now we're going to Apple Vision Pro. Excuse me, you're seeing everything AI, everything before you. So everything is constantly evolving, and every business is going to keep evolving. It's ideation. You will keep evolving. So, but for the now, what you have to start from somewhere. So I've been able to share with you. This is the size of the market I'm trying to address. So far, this is the market that we've had. And then I go to the next slide, how much we've made so far. And with this amount, 100 people like Adobe who have used it, we've been able to do this amount. And if we're able to get 5% of the market out of the 10,000 Adobes in Lagos, if we're able to get around 5% of people like Adobe to use this product, this is what it will look like in profitability for the business, the benefit for the user who is Adobe, and at the end of the day, the benefit for the company overall. And I've explained to you my numbers. I've explained to you that so far, this is the amount I've made in dollars or in naira. So far, from 100 people utilizing our products, we've been able to do $100,000 or 100,000 naira. Sorry, I've been able to do 100,000 naira at the moment. And if we can get 5% in the next 1 year to get using our product, we're going to be doing ₦1 million in profit, or we're going to be doing 10 million naira in revenue streams, and then we're going to be doing 1 million naira in profits. And I can tell you for a fact, you will go through 10 slides of pitch deck in 10 minutes. Target yourself 1 minute for each slide, 1 minute for each slide, 1 minute for each slide. With this story, one sentence as a story, as a line to express your pitch, each page of your pitch. Before you know it, I did it. Pitch storm, they will teach you, must do it. To the point that I had to create small poster cards to represent each of my slides, and I'll hold it in my hand. I had to record myself. I have to keep within 6 minutes. I have to keep within 10 minutes. Just at the same time, don't run too fast. I had to read it. I had to record myself on my phone for each of these things I said. And I had to play it to myself while I slept, while I woke up, because I have to be able to communicate it at the same way to people. Very simple, very succinct. You have to also sell yourself like you understand the business that you're doing, because at the end of it's always wise that you finish before time or on time. Don't talk too much and overshoot your time. It does not say well about you. It doesn't mean that you have too much idea. No. Stick to the time. If you're able to coincide, it says a lot that you understand the business too much, so much that you're able to coincide it and be able to produce, something. Do you get what I mean? So you should be able to do that. I did those rigorous processes, played it on my phone, played it overnight while I slept, so I can be able to get it, sink it in, so that when I stand and I start talking about it, it makes sense to people. It's not verbose. There's not a lot of words. Yes, you can do 3 minutes. I can assure you, you can do 3 minutes. Deconstruct everything that you've written, every page. For every page of your this thing, don't tell too much stories. Today I came to tell you too many stories. Don't tell too much stories. Use one sentence to explain. For instance, let me see. I'm trying to use something as an example. Okay, doing a brainstorm session, you leverage this. This is a whole long, let's say this is my pitch deck, a page. I have to use one simple sentence in less than 60 seconds to be. So you have to divide these 3 minutes to the number of your slides in your pitch deck. Okay, and when you're able to divide, you know how many seconds you have for each of the slide. And when you do know, each of that, you'll be able to know how many minutes or how many seconds you can use for each page without wasting too much time. Go straight into it. You understand? So all you need to do basically, life has become very easy right now. You can even get an AI, to get that done for yourself. And you will also show who are the people already. You will tell them, oh, before now, Adobe was already doing, Adobe before now was already using this other, patronizing this other products because of what she was searching for. But unfortunately, due to this, it was not able. You have used that sentence to explain why your unique selling point, why you should be the preferred choice for Adobe, and why you would be the preferred choice for Adobe. Okay, you will highlight other people that they're already buying from, but they are still searching for more, and that's why the solution that you're bringing to the table will be much more suited for Adobe. So you see, by the time you run through this, you've been able to tell problem, solution, the solution journey for the customer, what the size of this market looks like, so far what the numbers you're doing looks like, your financial projections by the time you get about 5% of the market in the next 1 year. If you're able to do that in 1 year, in the next 5 years, you plan to do this also percentage, and these are what the numbers look like in 5 years. You can maintain this amount every month, every year for 5 years. This is what you're going to be able to achieve. And then you talk about already existing players in that industry. That is where you say already Adobe is patronizing or exploring other solutions from these other partners. You mentioned them, but you now highlight why yours is the best, because Adobe, even though exploring these ones, still have the same problem persisting, and that is why we exist. You have already communicated what it is about you. Even though they're patronizing, they have still not been able to find the right people who will be able to provide that exact solution that they want, so that they can be able to get the right experience that they want from a particular product. And then by the time you've told them this is your existing competitors, and this is why you have your unique selling point and why you're better than your existing competitors, and I'm just saying it in no particular order. You've told them that, you've told them your financial projections, and then you told them what we are asking today to be able to help the likes of Adobe, 10,000 of Adobe out there. If we can get, so far, without any sort of cash inject, we've been able to help about 10,000 or 100 people like Adobe. If we have a cash injection of about 1 million naira, it would allow us the opportunity to reach to beyond 100 Adobes, to be able to get through to people almost to the tune of 1,000 Adobes. How? It will go into, number one, our marketing strategies, because we've discovered that Adobe likes to shop in places like this, and we have set up our marketing strategy to be able to reach Adobe where Adobe is, without Adobe having to lift a finger, without Adobe having to do any other extra work. One, you're already showing us where you're going to be putting the money into, and where you put that money into these things, it will produce the results that you think is going to produce. And that's exactly it. You said this is where we're going to put it in drive markets, and we believe that this is where this is, because you've understood who your customer is, and this is where we're going to put in. We're going to get more hands on deck to get more people driving the same solution, to get this solution closer to Adobe. And you've mentioned all the places you're going to put that 1 million naira in, and how when you put that 1 million naira into those places, obviously your marketing strategy should take bulk percentage of your money. If your marketing strategy is not taking bulk percentage of your money, then we want to look into what business you're doing again, or what you're doing as a business person, because is money. Money is used to make money. Okay, so when that is done, you've told us, you've been able to tell them this is your problem, this is the solution, this is the person you're building it for, this is how they will see you, this is the market size that you're trying to, this is the people that they're already patronizing, this is the market size, this is the numbers you've already done so far, and this is, if you're able to maintain this momentum and be able to, you'll be helping this amount of people who look like Adobe in the next 5 years. And all we are asking for is, our ask, which is what you're requesting for, is 1 million naira, or whatever the grant is. With that amount of money, this is what you're going to be putting into, so you can be able to get people that solution faster and better. And then you finish. I can tell you for a fact, if you do that, you can relate with it. You must make your business relatable. No matter the type of business, it has to be relatable. You have to use things around me. People like stories. Jesus Christ understood this. People like stories. Use questions. ask questions, use stories, get people engaged. Do you understand? At the end of the day, you will be able to do this in 3, 4, 5 minutes and be able to present your pitch. And you must also sound, by the time you do that, you're not rushing so fast. Your pace, that's why you need to take your time. Go over your pitch deck, go over it, know the lines that you want to say, know the things that you want to communicate. It's not everything. Remember what I said at the beginning. You're not there to give them the whole gist of the company. You're just there to incite, titillate them. Let them see that, oh, if I don't participate in this, I will be missing out on the future if I don't invest in this business. Some of you need to go and watch on YouTube, what's it called now? I used to watch a lot of them then. Pitching, events on YouTube. I used to watch quite a lot of them. It did help me. You see people pitching knife, Shark Tank. Thank you. You see in Shark Tank, there are quite a lot of them. You see people pitching about knife, kitchen knife, and you see people investing billions of dollars into making of kitchen knife. You'll be wondering, what is it? It's not still kitchen knife that we are doing. Like, exactly, there are quite a lot of them. It's not just Shark Tank, there's Lions Den, there's quite a lot of them. Sometimes I don't even, I listen to quite a lot. When I want something, I go for it. So listening to those things helps you, give you an idea of how you should pattern your business. Make it enjoyable. You're not there to talk like a robot, talk business, and nobody understands anything. It flies over their head, and at the end of the day, they will start asking you questions all over again. No. I think with that said, I think if you have that strategy, number one, ask questions. Start with a question if you can. If you can't, start with a story. Go straight into your story. Use a story to be able to describe each page of your slide. Okay? And sound very confident. You have to sound confident, sound knowledgeable, like someone who knows what they're actually doing. Know your numbers. It's very important to know your numbers. Know your numbers very importantly. You don't need to be a certified financial person before you know your numbers, your little numbers, the size of your market you're trying to address. You need to know the size of the market. You need to know the total addressable market, what we call TAM. You need to know all of these things. Total addressable market, you need to understand that of the size of the market. What is the addressable market that you're trying to reach out to? And that's all you need to do to get it done. Do you understand? All right. And I think with that said, I think I've been able to run through. Obviously, by the time you finish your pitching, you will be asked a question. And when you ask the question, now is an opportunity to explain further if it does require it. You can now spend time asking, they can spend time explaining more around the idea. Somebody said, should I start with a question before or after introducing myself? You can. It depends what works specifically for your business. You can start with a question. You can craft a question that can get people to attention to listen to you, people to resonate with your idea. They wouldn't forget it, because these are things they look at as well. Your ability to communicate is not just speaking English. Communication is that people get what you're saying at the end of the day. All right, you can do that. You can go straight into using the stories to tell about your business. Somebody said, I participated in a pitching competition and I wish I attended this. Oh yeah, I mean, yes, I'm sure that now you do have that experience, you can put it into and get that done. I think I've overshot my time by quite a lot, and I've also been notified that I need to round up now. So any other questions that you do have, please put it together, share with the coordinators. I'm sure they will get in touch with me. I can have those questions answered. And if you do want to also, you can check me out on LinkedIn. Lois Peters is still my name on social media platform. It would be great if you do follow me on Instagram, most especially on LinkedIn. Lois Peters, obviously you see my picture that will tell you it's me. You can follow me there. You can, interact with my page there. You can, support me there by following me and asking me questions on my messenger, and I would always respond once I have that time. I'm quite also a very busy person, all right, but I will try as much as I can to respond. Thank you very much for listening and or obliging me today on this training. I do appreciate you have stayed this long. All right, with me on the call, right, and thank you very much. But I've come to the end of my storytelling. Okay, and I hope and I wish you all the best in your endeavor as you go ahead to get this sorted. And we hope to see some of these businesses thrive as well tomorrow. So I can also be proud and say, oh, I was part of the process. Okay. I mean, that would mean a lot. All right. Thank you guys. Do take care of yourself. My pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure, my pleasure always. Thank you for the ones following me already. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma.
Thank you very much, man. We really do appreciate it, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye, Ma.
Bye, ma'am.
All right, so thank you, everyone. Today is the final session for the boot camp, but there are some information I would like to pass. Regarding the information about the pitch deck, which I dropped yesterday, I got a lot of messages. I know the information was very clear, but a lot of people were still asking what they are supposed to do and all of that. So in order to answer that, I'm going to be repeating all of this so everyone can understand. So give me a few seconds.